Welcome, everyone. Welcome to our exclusive webinar titled Empowering Employees with Generative AI Powered Copilots, powered by SymphonyAI, where we are excited to explore the cutting edge realm of AI powered solutions. Today, we delve into the future of service desk management propelled by the revolutionary capabilities of GenAI. I'm Aratrika Talukdar, Senior Correspondent at Express Computer, and I'm delighted to be your host and moderator for the day. Before we dive in, let me introduce you to the house rules. This audio video webinar is being broadcast live and will be available on demand on our website post the session. We'll have poll questions in between the webinar, and I request the audience to actively participate and share your views in the polls. We'll also have a Q&A round at the end of the webinar. However, you can send in your questions anytime during the webinar using the Q&A text box. In case you face any technical issues, please try to refresh your browser first, or else you can reach out to our team using the same Q&A text box. They will be there to assist you. If you have your questions unanswered, be rest assured we will connect with you over email post the webinar. Now, let's take a moment to envision the transformative power of Gen AI in the workplace. Imagine a world where IT issue resolution is not just efficient but proactive, where the user experience is seamless and where productivity knows no bound. That's the promise of Gen AI, empowering organizations to transit traditional service desk limitations and usher in a new era of innovation. Today, we have the privilege of hearing from the industry experts who are at the forefront of this transformative movement. But before we introduce our esteemed speakers, let's take a glimpse into what awaits you in the webinar. During our session today, you will discover how Gen AI can revolutionize your approach to issue resolution, enhance the user experience, and elevate overall performance. We'll explore areas like faster resolution and increased business value, intelligent recommendation and improved agent productivity, automatic root cause analysis and efficient work routing and prioritization, enhanced knowledge and management spanning multiple enterprise departments, improved user experience with 24/7 support, and swift IT issue resolution, reducing your downtime and increasing CSAT. By end of this webinar, you will be equipped with the knowledge and insights to unlock the full potential of Gen AI in the enterprise IT management. But first, let's meet our distinguished speakers who will guide us through this enlightening session. Once again, I am Aratrika Talukdar, Senior Correspondent with Express Computer, your host and moderator for the session. We have with us Mr. Piyush Parashar, who is the Territory Sales Manager at SymphonyAI. He brings over a decade of experience in the IT services and SaaS industries with a proven track record in consulting and acquiring enterprise clients across various sectors, including BFSI, manufacturing, travel and transportation, professional services. Piyush excels at driving engagement through a consultative approach. He specializes in creating innovative solutions and offering optimizing service delivery and implementing shift-left solutions using robust IT service management platforms. On the other hand, we have Mr. Sumit Sidwani, who is a solution consultant at Symphony. He has been instrumental in shaping the company's offerings for the past 4 years. Based in Noida, he is responsible for the North and East regions of India. Sumit is a seasoned principal solution architect with over a decade of experience in service management, automation, AI for large enterprises. With expertise in solutioning, delivery, and consulting, he has played a pivotal role in driving service management, AI, and Gen AI copilots for major corporations. Both Piyush and Sumit have a strong track record of delivering products and services to large enterprises and captives in India. Today, they will share insights into the transformative power of Gen AI and its impact on reshaping the service desk landscape. I would like to hand over the session to Piyush now.
Thank you for setting the context and thank you for guiding us through the agenda for the day. And I think we have a very precise an hour today. So let me straight away head down to the topic. And I think it can't be a more exciting topic in 2024, mid-year of the 2024, than to sincerely look at how Gen AI is empowering employee experience, right? And while delivering service management for a decade and a half, Symphony AI has been at the receiving end of the demand that large enterprise customers have been asking us. They want us to deliver more. They wanted us to be the pioneer in the Copilot space or Gen AI, leveraging Gen AI. And I think we have been able to do justice to it. And thanks to all our esteemed enterprise customers who have pushed us, and thanks to the innovations that we bring, I think we have some substantial and some very exciting content for today. Uh, Thanks to my colleague who will keep the excitement growing towards the end of the engagement of this particular hour, because while we will we have split the entire session into two. I would like to talk more about the mechanisms and the expectations from a co-pilot for employee. Sumit will straight away go live and try and show how those co-pilots work in action, right? So the excitement will grow. So I hope we'll do justice to this hour and to this esteemed audience, right? So team, everyone, thank you so much for your time in this afternoon. I'm Piyush, and I'm part of Symphony AI organization. Just a brief about who we are and what we do globally, right? So we are around 2,500 employee, bunch of exciting engineers, solution consultants spread across 33 countries, and we are primarily delivering enterprise solution, if I would say, specific to CPG, specific to financial world, specific to manufacturing, media, and something that cut across all the enterprise, all the verticals, and which is agnostic to an industry, is the enterprise IT division, which offers the service management, asset management, and the service automation platform, right? Which is also called Apex. Now, why we will try to skip the entire Apex information today. Uh, Very keen to just tell you that Symphony AI was branded with AI as a tag, not in 2023 when the open AI revolution came and it came to us free of hand to do experimentation, right? It's a little bit old. 2017, almost $1 billion was invested at an enterprise level for AI innovation and research. And since then, we have been working very actively on these co-pilots and beyond co-pilot use cases of AI. I think that gives us a lot of uh, I think advance run when we place ourselves for enterprise to prove the co-pilots and prove the Gen AI applicability over here. And that's what the intention of the today's webinar is. We would like to move away from the gimmicky end consumer co-pilot and a chat conversation. Let's look at some serious co-pilot, some serious applicability of this technology, and something that can immediately help you guess or calculate your ROI. So that's the intention, and that's about Symphony AI. While doing all of this, we have been really fortunate enough to work with some of very large organizations globally. We have been able to deliver a solid service, year on year benefits to them, and also these are the esteemed customers who challenge us with the most advanced use cases, who mention their expectations from the platform, and that's how the genesis of the entire platform and particularly the co-pilots that we are going to discuss has happened, right? While this is all about Symphony AI, before we start about talking about co-pilots, how they work, how they behave, what do you expect, I would just like to take a poll at this point, then just like to understand what's the scenario and what's the understanding in this audience, and then accordingly we'll drive the content, right? So Aratrika, I'll need your help to launch the poll again.
Sure, absolutely. Thank you, Piyush, for setting up the context, and looks very interesting. So before I hand it over to Piyush, who would like to launch our first poll for the audience, can we have the poll, please? So, would like to understand from the audience, and I would request everyone to actively participate. What is your biggest pain point when it comes to IT support? We have multiple options like slow resolution time, difficulty finding the right information, lack of self-service options, difficulty identifying the root cause of the issues, all of the above. If you have anything else, you can specify it in the chat, or none of the above. We'll wait for a few more seconds. Please, I request everyone to, give your responses. It will help Piyush to, delve deeper into the pain point areas and assist you better going forward. All right. Can we have the answers, please? Piyush, over to you.
Okay. That's an interesting outcome of the poll. I would say two things distinctly stand out over here. One is all of the above, which is most of the occurrences, and secondly, the difficulty, in identifying the root cause overall. Right? I think great points. I think great feedback. Thank you, everybody, and thanks, Aratrika. You did not allow me to respond, so that I bias it. I was trying to attempt a response, but that's okay. I think it's a good finding from the broader audience.
Sure.
Right?
Over to you. Thanks.
Thank you. So, in line to the response, and I do not believe that the industry is acting any different, right? I think the audience on this call is a correct sample set, is a correct replica of what industry is demanding today. In line with that, right? Let's look at what Gen AI co-pilots are expected to do, right? I mean, if at all you as IT leaders are trying to deploy co-pilots, you will expect it to help you start help with self services. Can employees, can end users be given a tool, given a sort of a widget, or on any choice of their communication platform, can they be given a tool to have a conversation and do a self resolution, self service sort of activity without hitting a portal or writing an email, right? I think that's one. The second expectation, you would always expect the co-pilots to be more faster, quicker. Can those 60 minutes of analysis, having a query, doing a due diligence and then working out the resolution, can that entire 60-minute activity be 5 minutes or a 7-minute activity with this, right? Definitely, we if we are running a support, if we are running shared services for large businesses, 24 cross 7 availability is a primary requirement. We know it comes with a cost. It if you want to man those entire 24 cross 7, it has its complexity, it has its requirement. But thanks to co-pilots, or even before co-pilots, there has been a lot of bot experimentation done in the industry. The availability challenge gets resolved, right? So that's the solid expectation from a co-pilot, that it remains available at a dispensable of a few clicks for employees and users to be available whenever they need those help, right? And in totality, the enterprise looks at improved productivity, right? And are those number of hits, are those number of queries, those number of ticket logs, are those number of interaction, are they all going down or not, right? Is it translating back to reduced human effort and subsequently to those reduced savings, right? Increased savings, I would say, right? I think these are the primary four questions. There's nothing fancy about it. This is a genuine demand by any large enterprise, that if they are adopting to a technology, are these four towers getting addressed or not, right? And absolutely, yes, this should be. Anything beyond this would still be a frill, but this is the essence of any solution, any expectation from a Gen AI co-pilot that enterprise expect, right? Now, when this challenge was thrown to us, we took an approach that let's split the entire end user segment into three categories primarily, right? One, which is the bigger subset, which is the complete end user group, right? I mean, all of us, right? All of us are employed to our organizations. We come from an organizations where we have a 2,500 or 7,000 or 20,000 employee or 500 employees, right? Whatever is the size of our organization, all of us as an employee, we expect our departments to service us, right? We want the IT to be at our dispensable. We want HR department. We want admin department or a travel department, right? we are essentially the requester of these help, and we go to them to borrow certain help, to borrow certain service, or we go to them to query something, right, and get an accurate information. So we become the broader subset, right? Then a little smaller subset within this segment is the analyst, right? The people who will receive this request, people who will work on these issues, and people who would like to uh, address those and resolve those issues, right? I think those are the analysts. Some of us call them technicians, analysts, service desk, right? So those are the another persona that should be targeted. And third, definitely people who lead the operations, people who are in executive roles, or who are leading a particular track or a tower of operations. I think they need to be dealt in a different way. While all three put together are employee, we have our own needs, but these are the three different set with a very different requirement and different expectations from Copilot, right? And that is something we have been able to judiciously deliver for the enterprise world. So end user Copilot, it's a no-brainer. Can I have as an end user a platform to have my queries posted? Can those queries be auto ticketed? Can I be guided to correct share folders? Can I be querying my knowledge efficiently? Can I have the prelim issues of my IT and non-IT issues be resolved just by having a conversation with a Copilot, right? I think that's what an expectation from end user Copilot is. When it switches to the analyst, things become little tricky, things become little more nuanced, and this is where the maturity of of the process comes in, right? So for an analyst, somebody who's reading those issues, can the Copilot help them summarize it? Can the Copilot go ahead and be be intelligent enough to suggest those probable resolutions uh, based on the past trend, based on past tickets, based on past data in the system, right? And finally, something which is expected and never delivered by the and it's difficult to be delivered by an analyst world is a very mature write up of resolution, right? Something that at times called RCA of an issue, right? That is where again a Copilot can help generate those mature enterprise grade issue based resolution scripts, and that can feed back into your knowledge, right? Something which will continuously mature your knowledge base as well, right? And then comes the final Copilot persona, which is for the leaders, for executives, for CXOs, or maybe a track lead, right? Well, if we are in those roles, typically we have scheduled reports, right? We consume a lot of data, we consume a lot of reports, but finally we never get satisfied with a scheduled report, right? What we see a report, we still have a double click question that, hey, what was that event that is impacting my Tuesday data? What's happening it? And that urges us to go back to the team, go back and call somebody, have a team's conversation with someone, pull two people into the room and have those conversation, and then try and understand, while all the data to answer those questions are there inside the data, inside the database or the system, right? Here comes the Copilot, right? The Copilot can help you query those specific questions or the double click questions that you may have on a report, right? You want to look at a trend, you want to predict those trends, that okay, if something has happened for last 2 months, can I expect my third month of the quarter, how do I see the trend in that, right? So overall, that is what they expect from an executive layer. So we have split the Copilots into three persona, and that's what we bring to the market primarily. I think we covered it. A typical journey of a Copilot or an investment done on Gen AI by a large enterprise. Definitely, if I would see the last block, it would be to drive efficiency, drive end user experience. But yeah, it takes a journey, right? It starts with a lot of self service. There has to be workflows and process prioritizations in place. The knowledge base should be very effective. It should be enriched time to time. While all of this is happening, there has to be a mechanism for proactive resolutions which are workflow based, which are notification based, which are event based. And while all of this operation is running in the system, uh, the insights is fed back to the leadership. Any continuous improvement, any optimization scenario that arise from this operation is triggered, is notified to the right stakeholders. If all of the cycle is run, we believe that a solid service, a solid user experience, and efficiency can be derived by any AI investment done in organization. While this is going a little too technical, but I'm so excited to share with you and expose how we are thinking about Copilot skills right now. This is really interesting, and we are, we want to be the pioneer in the enterprise where we want to expose and get more validation from the large industry leaders, and that's where we talked about what are the Copilot skills that Symphony AI brings upfront to the table, right? So knowledge base, right? Something which has been enriched, which has been developing, been in terms in the enterprise for long, but never been exploited to the extent it could be, right? Thanks to Gen AI, right? We have better money on this, and we believe that an enterprise knowledge management, if used judiciously, if it is integrated very well with the AI system, or the entire Copilot model, I think it can be very beneficial for large enterprises, right? Similarly, so we have built skills around enterprise knowledge management. Our next set of skills come from ITSM interactions, making those conversation between service management and the end employee or the analyst, something I spoke about in last slide. Those being very seamless, being very quick and relevant. Uh, Again, the next is more on app integrations, right? Can the conversation happen on an MS Teams, on a Slack, or a Google Chat, or any communication medium that the enterprise is using, right? So we need to be agnostic of it. It should be a seamless experience, a consistent experience for an employee or an enterprise on the choice of their platform. And that is something we offer. And on the data side, definitely trend, uh, root cause analysis, anomaly detection, predictive analytics around it, and recommendations. I think these have been lot talked about, but never delivered sort of expectations with AI. But with our data insight Copilot skill already already working and already tested and being consumed by enterprise, these are certain off-the-shelf attributes that large enterprise can start using and exploiting, right? So this is something that we wanted to precisely cover here and explain how we are trying to, launch any large enterprise consuming Gen AI services, right? I think I can skip this. I think my colleague Sumit would be just waiting on clock, and he would like to show you the exact product in action. There's no point looking at those static screens, right? I think we have already spoken about everything boils down and nails to employee experience, employee productivity, and in return the entire operational efficiency that enterprise needs to run, right? So again, how do we deliver it, right? The entire architecture that goes around this robust enterprise Copilot, uh, I would just go possibly left to right on your screen. I mean, that's how it would appear, right? End user, right? Be it an employee, be it an executive, be it an analyst, or anybody, an employee or the customer set, right? We will have uh, communication channels, or we will use a platform in center. And once that is there, the first step to any of this entire architecture would be to go ahead and check the authentication of the user. Is it internal, external authenticated user, right? And that's where the bot framework comes in play, right? This is a traditional bot framework that sits at the first layer to do all these authentications and manual movement of fact checking within the first thread of conversation. And that triggers the correct APIs, right? And these could be APIs, which is like going and connecting with your HR systems, going and connecting with your internal ERP, or maybe an external customer support systems. So these are the API engine and interactions that we take care. Uh, Subsequently, the interaction prompt and LLM engine, these are the core and the inward looking engines of any Copilot that is working for large enterprise. Prompt engine is something that finally connects with these skills, something we just covered in our last slide, how we have categorized those into IDSM skills, knowledge based skills, the predictive analytics, and the pre-built skills is something that comes in this layer. And these skills are always enriched by the enterprise data, right? That is where Symphony AI's LLM comes in play, and all the interacting products, right? If it's an ITSM, if it's my ERP, if it's my HCM solution, those feed into those skills and enrich that over the time, right? At the moment, we are using OpenAI services to offer this entire solution to you. Uh, we have been experimenting with the cutting edge versions of GPT also. At the moment, at a standard level, we offer 3.5 turbo. We have customers who are demanding and who have started using 4.0 as well. Uh, it takes a disproportionate increase in the investment that is required, but our recommendation is that everything can be started at GPT 3.5 turbo, right? So, while it was not very essential, but we just thought that we expose the overall architecture. And while doing all of this entire service and bringing this Copilots services to you, it is very essential that things are secure. The data that you are connecting to these Copilots are accessed in a secured and in a private manner. You whatever risk or compliance that you have built in your systems, in your enterprise applications, those are adopted as is, and those are not touched and or played around with just because you want to use Copilot. And overall, the architecture should absorb the logics of role based or template based access to data, access to resources overall. Fortunately, because we have to offer the solution to large enterprise, we have been able to factor all these towers to have a very secure and a very governed Copilot solutions to you, right? I know I don't want to make it more technical than this, and I think let's skip to the more interesting part of the entire webinar, where my colleague Sumit would like to fire up his laptop and show you the entire Copilots. And I would request Sumit, if you can cover all the three persona, maybe end user persona, if you can cover a bit of analyst and also a little bit of executive persona, if time permits. So very excited to look at that. So thank you, everyone. Uh, while I wrap up, Aratrika, I'll need your help to, just take a quick poll that
Sure.
what was our
Thank
response
you.
before and what's after this entire session, right? So
Absolutely. Thank you so much for such an articulated, well-articulated presentation. Before we move on to Sumit's presentation, I would request our team to show the next poll. Can we have the poll on screen, please? I hope you all can see the second poll. Yes. So, which feature of Enterprise IT Copilot interests you the most? We have multiple options again. Automatic root cause analysis, knowledge management for enterprise, works like a schedule assistant, integration with existing IT tools, all of the above, or none of the above. I would request the audience to share your responses and please vote for the relevant option. We'll wait for a few more seconds before we look at the answers. All right, can we have the answers, please? Piyush, I would request you once again if you can just read out the answers.
I mean, had I been again given a chance, I would have, you know, somebody from industry would have definitely clicked the last option also, none of the above, because the expectations are so high from Gen AI, right? Definitely, right? These are essentially the primary demands, right? And we at a very sincere level believe that we are still addressing the first phase of expectations of Gen AI, right? Uh, we are working, the innovations are going on beyond things as well. We currently do not see a commercial viability of those in large enterprise, but we are working on it, right? So I would have expected at least one or two clicks on none of the above also, but yeah, it's very delight to see that, hey, all the challenges that at least we are addressing or we are offering to the enterprise world is a challenge, and it gives us a thumb back. Over to you, Sumit. Maybe your take, and then followed by your exciting demonstrations.
Over to you, Sumit.
Yeah. Thank you, Piyush.
Hear
Thank
from
you,
you.
Latika. I'm Sumit. I'll take from here and will showcase my presentation, wherein where Piyush left. This is the architecture screen which Piyush was talking about. So, which are the utilities using which we can access the solution? Then we have different block diagrams using which we can not only access, but we can also authenticate the user and identify the user. So, these are different blocks which we will be using, wherein these different sources of knowledge which the users have, which we also call it as customer knowledge sources or enterprise knowledge search. So those can be built in. Their service management solutions, their asset management solutions, ERP solutions, HRMS solutions, multiple different solutions which are there, along with their mails and all different sources of data which are there in the system. On top of that infra, we can put our Copilot skills as a block, and then there we work on the prompt engineering, which is a very known word in today's world, that from prompt engineering, wherein we do the prompts and define the prompts, what is to be done. So a text will appear on the screen, which will be telling the user through, taking the user through different complex tasks and solving their problems. Along with that, there will be LLM engine, wherein multiple tools are already deployed. There is an interactive engine which will help the users to automate their repetitive tasks, identify the APIs using which they can get the answers. So this is all what Piyush told everyone about. Now from here, I'll take you to one or two GUI examples on the PPT, and then I'll showcase you the live demonstrations, how we can utilize them. So this is an example wherein there is a prompt which has come from a user that I need to say, I need to take some time off next month. Could you please provide me details of the leave policy, specifically regarding sick leave and personal days? So there are different words which are kept here. So using those different iterations or iterations, which I can say, the LLM model will run on those particular identities and then identify who is the user, check the authenticity of the user, what policy documents is he talking about as a different input adapter, then what timeline they are talking about, and what exactly is the context search which they are asking for. Combining all these different segregations, what we do using the prompt engineering, segregate that prompt into different blocks, and then combine it based on the repository, run LLM engine on top of it, and then give an answer that based on the company leave policy, you are entitled for one sick leave per month. You have 10 personal days off on every quarter. And then what is your leave balance, and all that stuff can also be given as an output to the user. So this is how we define the prompt engineering on top of the blocks using the Copilot, and then break those into different iterations and then give the output. So from here, I'll directly switch on to my Copilot of which what we are providing as Symphony Summit. So here you can see that we can integrate it with Microsoft Teams, Slack, Jabber as different communication channels, or using the web portal as well. So currently today's demo, I'll showcase you in my Microsoft Teams. So here I'll start with an end user persona. So I will be showcasing you end user persona, moving on to technician persona and executive persona combined, and then the admin persona. So here, this is a system wherein earlier what we used to call it as a digital agent, and this is an enhanced version of it, what we call as Copilot, wherein the Gen AI features have come into it. So here we will ask the questions to the system, and then we will get answers. Say, for example, if we have a question related to, please share the travel policy of the organization. So once we type this in, this prompt, this will be broken into the travel policy and the organization, what we are talking about, and who is the user, as I showcased you in the example. It will give me the text of that. Then it will also give me the storage preference. So you have your blob storage, you have your Confluence, you have your SharePoint, you have your FTP. So wherever the data is, you can define that into the system, and then accordingly you will get the output. So here as an output, you have your travel policy, you have the link to it. You can just browse over it. It will tell you that it is from the Azure Blob Storage. And accordingly, you can just click on it and access the PDF. And also Copilot helps you to read the data which is there within inside this particular. And also the beauty is that it will help you ask next questions as well. So would you like to know more about the non-reimbursement expenses as per the policy? I will say yes. And it is interactive rather than the earlier version of the conversational bot, wherein we used to train the system and then get the output. And for the non-trained things, it never used to give an output. So this is a better version of it. So it is giving you a different inputs that for alcoholic beverages, credit card late fees, and all other peripherals, there will be no reimbursement which will be given to you. So there are multiple things which can come up on top of it. So now, say for example, next question of me will be, give me top three uh, travel guidelines as per company travel policy. So it will select top three policy guidelines and then showcase that to me. So I can start interacting in a better way, in a non-trained manner, and uh, it is easy to implement as well as compared to the earlier solution. So here you can see that there are 3 pointers as I asked. So it will give me all those. Now I can also ask about the per diem. What is my per diem? So I can specify what is my per diem, and I can um, type in that. 1 second. What is the per diem for traveling from India to US? So based on designation also you can ask. So these prompts can be based on user to user. So it will give you the output that your per diem is $60 per day, and it covers the expenses of meals, laundry, and personal travel, and no alcoholic things are covered in this. So if I want to get my calculation on the accommodation, it will give me that as well. So what is as per my designation, it will directly pick it from the system, what is my designation, and give me the details accordingly. So here it is giving me that my accommodation for New Jersey and East Coast is $120, and for West Coast it is $200. So accordingly, it is giving me all those details. Now I can also ask me that calculate my per diem cost when I'm traveling from 5 days to US and 4 days to some other country. Then it will also help me in calculating and giving me the complete information from the per diem perspective. So you can ask the questions to get the input, to calculate multiple different things can also be incorporated to get the required inputs read by the system, understood by the system, and then output will be given. So it is giving me the correct output that I need. I will be charging 500 USDs for my travel. Now, moving ahead. So when I say that I can do all these things, now there will be some problems also which I'll be facing. Say, for example, I need a VPN access. So I'll type in that I need a VPN access, and it can also help you when you have a service management system or a facility management system integrated at the back end. So it will pick up information from that. So for giving this as an input, what is to be connected? So it is saying that I have a catalog wherein you can raise a request, and then you can give in the inputs. So if I say yes, then it will start asking me questions which are required for this particular input what I have given. So then, when there are multiple inputs which are to be given at one time, so you can either go one by one. So you can ask the system that can I give one by one input, or you can give all inputs at one go. Say, for example, remarks, end date and time, duration, everything can be given at one go as well. So I'll quickly put in my data. So I'll give my remarks as I'm a new joiner, and date and time is July 28th, and then start time is there, and my reason for connection is also there. So once my ticket will be raised in the catalog, all this information what I'm giving as a paragraph here will be stored in the required fields automatically. So we can give the Copilot skills can be configured in such a way that it can take the input what we are giving, segregate it, and place it in required places. Now it will update that I have raised the ticket on behalf of you. And if you are not satisfied, so you can also update the ticket on all that stuff. So this is how my ticket has been raised, and I've also got the ticket number. From an end user perspective, if I want to update the ticket, I can also update the ticket using this Copilot. So this is how you can use the system from the end user perspective. Now moving on to the manager or an executive perspective. So say, for example, you are a manager and you want to see is there any negative sentiment which has been there in the system. So it will help you in identifying those things as well. And then you can get details of those tickets. You can uh, do other things as well, update those tickets, set an invite with all the analysts. All those stuff can also be configured and done using the system. I have a lot of things to show. I'm also afraid, looking at the watch about the time as well. So any negative sentiment, it can be based on the feedback, it can be based on the symptom description or any of the field input. You can get that also as an output within the your system as well. So these are the tickets which have come up wherein there are some negative sentiments which the system has identified. So here, if I say, please share me more details. In paragraph for ticket ID 151486, the first ticket. So it will give me details of that ticket as well. So I can go through from here only rather than going onto the system and looking into the ticket. Just give me a second. I guess there is some lag in the system. So I'll skip this use case as of now. So there is another use case from the manager perspective that show me the list of tickets which have been raised in last 1 month. And then it will showcase you top 5 tickets. And then you can also view your ad hoc reports, because reporting is the major concern for all the executives and the managers. So you have to wait for the system to send you the report in case required, or based on the scheduler which is running in the system, it will schedule and give you a report on that particular time. But say, for example, in the morning when you reach office, you want to see something as a report. So you can directly ask the system and then generate a report from here. Yeah. So it has given me few list of tickets which are there. Now I can also ask the system that please share this in form of bar chart based on category. So it will create a report for you on the fly and give it to you, which you can download and then use. So this is how your charts can come up. And then we can improvise the look and feel. That Copilot skills will help, wherein we can improvise the look and feel, and then you can drill down as well. Now, this is from the executive perspective for ad hoc reporting. Now, there will be like Gen AI use cases. There can be a predictive AI use case as well, which you can use for your operations. That what is my daily incident count in last 1 week, and can you predict what will be the approximate count of tickets in next month? So it can, based on the system data, it can map and give you what will be my predictive analysis based on what will be the number of incidents in the next month. And based on that, you can prepare your team that these are the number of incidents which will be coming, and help you plan for your operations as well. So I guess it is taking some time to respond. I'll do one thing. I'll scroll up. I have all these things already ready for you guys to showcase. So if you can see this, based on the data from the past week, there are approximately 12 incidents per day. And to predict the approximate count next month on the average daily use, it is making a simple prediction that if 12 incidents are there per day, considering 30 days, there will be 360 incidents which will be there. And we can train the system, we can give it more data so that it can make more detailed analysis for the prediction. Then it can also help us in creating Teams meeting invite or WebEx meeting invite as well. So when I put my key that I want to set up a meeting tomorrow, so it will check the calendar of that particular person, and then it can also give you different slots. And if it is free, it can ask that it is free, what time you want. So we can specify a time, then accordingly it will raise a Teams meeting invite for that particular person. There is an output. So there is some concern. So I'll rectify that post this. So these are few of the things what are there. And then we also have guardrails wherein we can stop the user from using the system which is not related to the organization. Like I want to know my bank account number, and based on my Aadhaar number, it should not give that. So it is saying that it is out of the scope. And I, being the enterprise coder, I'm well trained to assist you on the enterprise related inquiries and activities. So it is very important from the security perspective that guardrails are also applied in the system. Now, moving from this, I'll showcase you my portal wherein we have incorporated these AI capabilities, wherein you can also uh, get your insights of a ticket and also generate your resolution summary, which Piyush was talking about, generation of the root cause analysis within the system. So it will help you in doing that. So this is my list page. I'll open one of the ticket here, and then once I go to this, I don't want to go through the complete ticket detail. I just want to see what is there, what is the requirement in the ticket, what has happened, what are the intentions of this particular ticket. So I can go ahead and view the generate insight sections. So it will generate the summary of a ticket, which I can go through in a few seconds. Like when this ticket was created, the user was requesting based on the account log, and the password reset has been inaccessible. So there is no such information regarding the investigations which have been done by the analyst. So there are a few recommendation steps which are there. Reset the password for the corporate email to unlock it. Provide user with the instructions how to reset the password. Ensure proper monitoring and secure for future account logs. And the risk is potentially low. So accordingly, it will identify the investigations which have been performed on this particular ticket. What is the sentiment of this ticket and the potential risk. So all these things will be identified. Now, there is another scenario which we are talking about, the RC. So when we resolve this particular ticket, we have to define a solution. So what generally does the technician do? They specifically say the password reset completed, ticket resolved. So this is not a good way to specify. So your knowledge base will not be having complete information and all that. So we have embedded a button here which says generate resolution summary. So you can click on it, and it will help you generate a good resolution summary within the system. So once you do this, you can append your solution from here. If you want to change the resolution summary or by changing few bits and pieces here, you can copy and replace the solution. So all those things can be done. And accordingly, you will have a good resolution summary, good RCA, which is there. And then you can incorporate that within your system rather than having a single line output. So that is the way wherein you can incorporate these AI features and enhance the solution accordingly. So one more thing I would like to showcase you, which is using our text to code feature. So I'll showcase you that as well. So this is our service automation module, wherein we have an automation dashboard showcasing you all the skills, wherein you have defined your scripts, what is the trend, what is the execution offerings, and all that. But the major thing, how do you define skills? You have to have a coding team to develop that, right? But to avoid that, we have brought in a Copilot feature here as well, so that you can define your orchestration workflow simply, and you don't need any specific person to write that script which you want, and that can be done in any language. It can be PowerShell, Python, Shell, VB, any language you want, you can do. So now what I will do is I'll type in a system. We are using GPT-4 here as a, we will be changing this to Llama in a couple of days. As Piyush was telling you during the architecture explanation, that GPT 3.5 Turbo is the metric what we are using currently from the pricing perspective. But for this, we'll be changing it to Llama as well, and we are also working towards our own NLM model, which are to be. Now, what I'll do, I'll put a text here, and based on that, I'll generate a code, which will help me in defining the workflow what I want to define. So what I have specified here is that I want to write a script for an AD user to be created, wherein I want to capture first name, last name, department, and location. And if it is already there, then don't create that particular user. And if you want to append it, you can type the text accordingly so that the appending code can also be entered here. So this will help you in creating that particular text what you have written to a code format, and then particularly define your skill name. You can save it as a workflow. You can execute it. You can define the input, output, parsing criteria, and the relationship criteria. So you can specify here that your defined variables are first name, last name, department, and location, and check if user exists. If it does not exist, then you can add it to the list. So this is how you can do it. You can also review your skill, wherein you will have an updated format. You can do that, and then you can save it and move ahead to define yours. So there will be codes which will be added to it. So all that can also be done from here. So these are few of the use cases what we wanted to showcase in our today's session. So I am through with it. Aratrika, you can launch the third quiz, and over to you, Piyush.
Sure, sure. Thank you so much, Sumit.
Yeah.
I know there was some technical issues, and to understand the same, I would like to launch the final poll of the session. Can we have the poll, please? This is just to understand, would you be interested in an in-person deep dive into the SymphonyAI's Apex Enterprise IT Copilot? You can just vote your answers, yes or no. Accordingly, we'll connect you with the right person. And, it will help you to deep dive in their solutions and services.
Perfect.
All right, we'll wait
Ratika,
for...
yeah,
Yeah,
I think we are getting a lot of questions
yes,
also on the
yes, yes.
forum, right? So while we are trying, thanks to our leader Sayyad, Sumit, we have been trying to respond that, but just primarily looking at the questions, these are very sincere questions. Most of you have asked around, you know, the type of documentations or the knowledge that can be fed into the model. The questions are around, does that need to be in a specific format or something? I think we are answering it. I'll just reiterate. Actually, format doesn't matter. Uh, I think if the volume of data is higher, the better we are for a quick action around it. We see some raise of hand. I'm not sure if they can speak. If not, I think you can type down those questions. We see few people raising their hand.
Sure,
Possibly.
sure, sure. Absolutely. I was just moving to that. First of all, thank you, Piyush and Sumit, for an intriguing session. Without any further delay, I would like to open the floor for Q&A sessions. Few of the questions have already been answered by our experts in the chat box. So moving on, we have a couple of more questions that are unanswered. So I would like to take that up. So someone has asked, does the Copilot offer any customization options for different company workflows or needs? Piyush or Sumit, you would like to take that?
Yeah, I mean, I can take that. Absolutely, yes, it can. going back to the building blocks we showed in one of our slide, how we have fragmented it into the skills. We will have to understand what persona you're looking at, uh, what are the attributes you're expecting from those co-pilots. Yes, it can be maneuvered based on your need. The complete model is in a in lack of explaining terms, I can just tell you that it'll be more like a blank slate. It'll be a whiteboard, and the data that we fed into, the number of integrations that we build into, it'll behave more accurately towards those use cases, right? But very keen to understand more. Maybe we can take it offline with that on those questions also, right? But yeah, absolutely,
Absolutely.
yes. Yeah.
Sure, sure. Thank you so much. Moving on, just a small reminder that we are almost, running out of time. So please send in your questions. Even if you're not being able to answer it live, we'll connect with you offline post the session. So I'll be able to take only two more questions. So someone has asked, can you elaborate on the security measures in place to ensure the co-pilot protects sensitive company data? I think that's a crucial one. So yeah, Piyush
Yeah,
would like to
correct.
take it.
So I would like to answer that. So when
Sure,
we are talking
sure.
about security, we don't ask for any specific rights. So what we start off with when we are deploying the solution, we would first like to deploy the data for the data which is available and which is accessible to all the users within the organization. Post that, we will move on to the use cases which are there wherein less access is required. So then we are not sharing the data outside to anyone. It is logically, it has to be separated based on every user. We don't have data for any of the prompt training info. So this is one. Second is that we always connect with their data with respect to the access what we want to get, and we also ask the user to get to their and either during the implementation scope we clearly tell that trim down the access whatever is required in terms of to access the copilot and provide the response to the user, because it is based on the contextual input from what the user is asking the system to. Also on top of it we have guardrails, so we don't ask for any global access, global write access, or global read access. Based on the use cases, whatever access you have provided to the user or to the system, we are able to deploy all the use cases accordingly. Hope this answers.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Sumit. Last question I would like to take for the day. Can you elaborate on how the enterprise IT copilot integrates with existing IT tools and support stacks to enhance productivity? I think that's also very important and crucial point. Sumit or Piyush would like to take it.
Sure. Yeah. Sumit, you want to take one?
Yeah. So when we are talking about the large language model engineering, wherein integration is a part of it, so the API engine will be there, which will help you to provide a set of tools to build and deploy the applications. And then we can integrate with different solutions which are already lying in the system. As I told, that if based on the data source of the organization, like you have your blob storage, Confluence, and all that, which we called as a retrieval augment generation, which is a RAG in the AI world. So that is their place. Then you have your tools which are placed, which can be ITSM, ITAM, your HRMS, SAP on any other solution, and then your mails and Outlook and any other source. So we deploy our Copilot skills on top of your infrastructure accordingly, that the user identity will be checked. Then the input adapters for different scenarios, the contextualization will be done. Based on then the processing will be done, and then the output will be given to the user. So this is the complete process which will be followed. As I told in the starting, that identification and permissions is step number one. Second number is contextualization, and third is connectors to any of your solution within the organization, and there can be custom use cases as
Great. Thank you so much. I am really sorry to those we have not been able to take up the questions live, but we are definitely going to, connect with you offline post the session. With this, we come to the end of the webinar. Thank you so much, Piyush and Sumit, for joining us and sharing insights and showing the presentation. I would like to thank our speakers. This was indeed a very knowledgeable session, and I'm pretty sure there were multiple key takeaways and learnings for our audience. I once
Sure.
again thank you for taking out time for your busy schedule. And last but not least, I think we had a very active, proactive audience. They were constantly asking questions. I'd like to thank our audience for their active participation. See you in our upcoming webinars. Have a great day ahead. Thank you so much.